Medical charity Doctors Without Borders, MSF, admits its staff were accused of sexually abusing at least 59 Sudanese refugees who had fled the civil war in search of safety. Young girls were exploited in some cases, and often food or jobs were offered in exchange for sex.
A remote Albanian island has a new nickname, Kushner Island. Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of US President Donald Trump and founder of investment firm Affinity Partners, plans to build a $1.4 billion luxury resort there. The project has prompted large protests, with crowds chanting, "Albania is not for sale." Is this the future Albanians want, or a sellout of their land to foreign wealth? In this episode,
More than 1,000 civilians in Sudan have been killed in drone strikes in the first 5 months of 2026, according to the United Nations. The death toll is due to a sharp increase in the use of drone warfare in the country's vicious civil war, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, UNHCHR, Volker Turk said in a speech on Monday.
A British court has convicted 2 men for a series of arson attacks targeting properties and a car linked to Prime Minister Keir Starmer. On Monday, the jury in London found Ukrainian national Roman Lavrinovich, 22, and Romanian Stanislav Karpiuk, 27, guilty of conspiracy to commit arson. The verdict was delivered following a months-long trial held in the British capital.
a new report from Reversing Labs has warned users about short-form videos on platforms such as TikTok and Instagram Reels that are being used to spread password-stealing malware. The videos usually promise free access to popular products and subscriptions, including Spotify Premium, Windows, Office, and Adobe. These offers are being used to lure users into following unsafe instructions.
An 88-year-old art teacher in New York has sold a painting for $254,000, roughly our 7 crore, after her family used Google Gemini to help identify its real value. According to the New York Times, Helene Plotkin bought the painting from a thrift store in White Plains, New York in 1966 for less than $100. She kept it on her wall for nearly 60 years without knowing it was a valuable artwork. Elon Musk became the world's first trillionaire on Friday after shares in SpaceX surged during the biggest stock market debut on record. The Tesla and SpaceX founder strengthened his position as the world's richest person, with his total net worth reaching $1.11 trillion, according to the Bloomberg Rich List.
Lahore, the Pakistan Cricket Board, PCB, on Monday unveiled a new framework for awarding central contracts to players from the next fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026, while making no changes to either the National Selection Committee or the coaching staff. PCB Chairman Mohsin Naqvi, at a press conference held at a local hotel, made the announcements. He was accompanied by the High Performance Centre Director Aqib Javed, White Ball head coach Mike Hessen, PCB Chief Medical Officer Dr. Javed Mughal, and other officials.
A daredevil social media free climber nicknamed the Spider-Man of Yemen has died after falling into a volcanic crater in the country's southwest. Al-Kaka Ibn Antar had been attempting to climb its steep rock faces on Friday without safety equipment when he fell in, according to local authorities.
A 60-day deadline for Iran to make a nuclear deal with the threat of US military force looms, as President Donald Trump says he hopes for a deal even with Iran's leadership remaining defiant and Israel pushing for military action sound familiar. While déjà vu is technically an illusion of the mind, the above has happened once before. It is both where the Middle East is today and where it was in April 2025, in the weeks before the first Israeli strikes on Iran last year, and the US attack on its nuclear facilities. The past year may resemble a circle in US-Iranian relations back to the same place, but the trajectory has spiraled downwards for the US and the region as a whole.
Beirut, Lebanon, on Monday morning, people in Lebanon woke up to yet another ceasefire agreement. An agreement announced between the United States and Iran includes Lebanon, according to Iranian and Pakistani officials. But statements from Israeli officials cast doubt over whether the war that has been ravaging southern Lebanon since 2023 is finally over. Videos on Monday showed Lebanese people returning home to areas in the south of the country, though officials warned anyone from border villages not to return until the security situation becomes clearer.
A group made up of dozens of cybersecurity experts, including several well-known veterans of the industry, published an open letter to the US government asking it to lift the export control order on Anthropic's Fable and Mythos models. According to the open letter, action has taken the best models away from cybersecurity defenders, who now can't use the models to find vulnerabilities and make their software and products more secure. Xiaomi's upcoming Mix Fold 5 is expected to arrive with a higher price than its predecessor, as rising component costs and the company's custom chip development push the foldable into a more premium bracket. The Mix Fold 4 launched at around $1,290. The Mix Fold 5 is now expected to cost around $476. Pakistan's Tekken star Mohammad Fazeen has won the IMIX Up 2026 in France, adding another major international title to his growing list of achievements. The tournament was held in Lyon, France from June 13 to 14 and featured Tekken 8 as a Tekken World Tour Master event. The event had 270 entrants, bringing together several top international players.
The Pakistan Cricket Board, PCB, has announced that the regional interdistrict U19 one-day tournament will begin on Monday, June 15, with 103 districts and zones from across the country taking part. More than 1,600 U19 men's players in the 50-over red ball tournament. The participating teams have been divided across 16 regions according to their regional structure. Iran's football team landed at Los Angeles International Airport on Sunday, marking their first arrival in the United States at the FIFA World Cup 2026, ahead of their Group G-in from Tijuana, Mexico, after receiving a rousing send-off from their temporary base camp. Iran had shifted its camp from a sports complex in Arizona to Mexico late last month, following joint US-Israeli strikes on Iran that began in late February.
Pakistan fast bowler Haris Rauf has joined the San Francisco Unicorns for the 2026 Major League Cricket (MLC) season, continuing his long association with the Bay Area franchise. The Unicorns confirmed Haris Rauf as one of their returning international players after the MLC retention window closed on March 22, 2026. The Pakistan pacer has been part of the franchise since the inaugural edition of the tournament in 2023 and remains one of their key overseas players.
The British government's decision to ban the pro-Palestinian campaign group Palestine Action as a terrorist organisation is lawful because of its support for violence. London's Court of Appeal ruled on Monday Palestine Action, which had increasingly targeted Israel-linked defence companies in Britain, with a particular focus on Israel's largest defence firm, Elbit Systems, was proscribed under terrorism laws last year.
Islamabad. Members of the Senate from both sides of the aisle on Monday raised alarm over the burgeoning debt of Pakistan, sans a roadmap for economic stability. On June 12, the government presented the budget for FY27, allocating 8,054 BN for interest payments.
The war has been President Donald Trump's worst foreign policy blunder so far. It makes it harder for the United States to deter its enemies. A remote Albanian island has a new nickname, Kushner Island. Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of US President Donald Trump and founder of investment firm Affinity Partners, plans to build a 1.4 BN luxury resort there. The project has prompted large protests, with crowds chanting, "Albania's is not for sale. Is this the future Albanians want, or a sellout of their land to foreign wealth?" In this episode,
United States President Donald Trump says ships are starting to move through the Strait of Hormuz, The statement on Monday came after both the US and Iran announced plans to sign a memorandum of understanding aimed at ending the US-Israeli war with Iran on Friday.
Governments across the world have welcomed the tentative deal between the US and Iran to end the war, calling it a major diplomatic breakthrough. But Israeli politicians have been quick to criticize it, claiming it would undermine Israel's security.
Salesforce announced on Monday that it will acquire AI customer service platform Fin for $3.6 billion, formerly known as Intercom. Fin offers an AI agent that can resolve customer queries across channels, using live chat, WhatsApp, SMS, phone calls, Slack and more. Salesforce says it wants to use Fin's team and technology to improve Agentforce, its existing enterprise platform that businesses can use to build custom AI agents that automate tasks.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced on Monday that his government will impose a ban on social media use for children under 16 years of age. The ban would apply to a range of social media platforms, including Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and ex-Metshidi services like WhatsApp and Signal will not be included in the ban. There are also going to be limitations on AI tools, as AI romantic companion chatbots will have to ensure they are only usable by people over 18.
SpaceX's historic IPO just got supersized after the public offering's underwriters exercised their option to purchase the maximum amount of shares, bringing the total amount raised to $85.7 billion. Elon Musk's space and AI company had initially raised $75 billion, which was already enough to make it the largest IPO windfall ever.
WhatsApp is expanding voice and video calling to group chats on the web, allowing users to start calls directly from their browser. The feature is currently rolling out to some beta testers and will reach more users over the coming weeks. Pakistan is set to assume the chairmanship of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's Council of Heads of State, CHS, in September, while next year's CHS summit will also be hosted by Pakistan, commemorating the 25th anniversary of the SCO. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar acknowledged that the group has played an important role in promoting regional peace, security, stability, economic cooperation, connectivity and people-to-people exchanges among its member states, according to a statement released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Monday.
Islamabad, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif says there were moments in the final stretch of negotiations between the United States and Iran when the talks appeared close to collapse. Each time he told the National Assembly on Monday it was Field Marshal Asim Munir, Pakistan's powerful military chief, who kept the deliberations alive.
Deir el-Balah, Gaza Strip, Israeli forces shot and killed a 3-year-old boy as his father carried him in central Gaza. The family has said Rayyan Abu al-Ajin was shot in the Wadi al-Salka area of Deir el-Balah Governorate on Sunday afternoon, and his body was taken to the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital on Monday.